Episode: Reporting on Due Diligence and Assessment. Reporting the results of due diligence and project assessment. Let's talk about reporting on the results of technical and development plan and milestone reviews. This episode includes a huge list of technical and development questions and areas that should be considered and reported on when assessing a project or feature or tool or product for organization, team, progress, function, stability, performance, quality. Yeah, most everything to do with delivering a product or a service. It is imperative to engage with development teams in a constructive fashion, seeking to ever increase fidelity while narrowing scope over time. Although there are major key milestone reviews, there are many milestone and waypoints along the journey of product development that also need to be assessed. Again, these interim milestones should also be reviewed. I have often recommended what I call the perpetual looping 5 stages of developer engagement and course correction. The 5 stages are: 1. The vision and goals. This is where you make decisions, set the requirements, define the North Star. Number 2 of the 5 stages: roadmaps, deliverables, what success looks like, and key performance indicators. This is where you define objective measures: SMART, specific, measurable, actionable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, time-boxed. SMART, S-M-A-R-T. I'll say it again. S-M-A-R-T. SMART, specific, measurable, actionable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, time-boxed. Number 3 of the 5 stages is teams, communication, and partnership. This is where everyone knows their role and their responsibility. Number 4 of the 5 stages: implementation and proofs. This is again like specific measurable progress, but in the form of prototypes or actual software. And finally, number 5 of the 5 stages: review and course correct. This is where you objectively analyze and make revisions and make decisions to possibly cancel, revise features, change times, do anything to course correct that is required for the product. And then, of course, you loop right back up to number 1, which is why it is a perpetual loop of course correcting in product development. So you will continuously reassess your vision and goals, your roadmaps, deliverables, what success looks like and KPIs, your team, communication and partnerships, your implementation and proofs and prototypes, and then review all of that and course correct and do it again, perpetually. Every developer is unique, possessing different strengths and weaknesses. The goal of developer review is to understand how we can best work with a developer and optimize for success, including identifying where to maximize their talents and where to compensate for gaps in their skill or expertise, and where to augment their process or processes or technologies or staff. The review should ultimately generate an executive summary with clear recommendation to pass or work with a developer, explain the risks to success, and what mitigation steps might be considered. The review should generate a product evaluation for anything that's pitched as an IP or a feature or product. The review should generate a capability assessment with resource capacity, expertise, risk, and mitigations, including from your own group. The review should generate an engagement plan with how we'll all work together, how we will measure what success looks like together, and how we will tailor our roadmaps from being general checklists to specific appropriate review points that everyone agrees to. The review leader should assemble individual reports into a summary report for first contact consumption. People can dive into the details on their own accord or in official meetings. And in the end, it is necessary to document and report on the conclusions and the actions that were decided on during the due diligence and/or project or milestone assessment. Due diligence and assessment requires a conclusion. Due diligence and assessments require documented recommendations and insights. Things that should be included, but are not limited to, are as follows. They should include executive summary. I say that should include an outcome status. Simple. Pass, fail, waived, or delayed. It should include a risk level, 1 through 10. 1, there is no risk. 10, the product will fail. It should list top and major risks. They must have an owner, an action, and dates. They need a caption for the risk. They need to have a summary of the risk, the impact to the project if it is not addressed, and the mitigation plan to address it, prevent it, to watch for it, the owner who will make sure it is addressed, and a date that it will be completed and no longer a concern or risk. The executive summary should also list top concerns, things that should be watched for. They need an owner and decision dates as well. And finally, it needs a detailed summary. But that's for the team mostly, for people who are going to get into the weeds. It should also have the same outcome status, pass, fail, waive, delayed, the same idea of risk level, but you don't need to show the top risks per se. They are merely all simply major risks, or concerns. When you're working with the team to make sure there are clear owners of responsibility, I've strongly recommended to make sure there's some kind of responsibility, formalized structure and relationship. A common system that I have used in the past is quite simple, really. It's called RACI, or RACI. It stands for Responsible, Approving, Consulted, and Involved Ownership Modeling. The RACI model, Responsible, Approving, Consulted, Involved Ownership. Well, it uses a formal responsibility model for the team, for every single deliverable, risk, concern, everything. I have used the RACI model for responsibility across the entire team. Let's talk about what those things stood for. For RACI, R, the responsible point of contact for doing the work. There may be many people involved, but this is the primary point of contact for a specific thing that must be done. A, approving staff responsible for approving the item, the document, or the task. C, staff that is consulted about the item, the document, or task. And finally, I, the informed staff, people that need to be notified of the information of what's going on about that task and its status. A technical design review, or TDR, and development plan review, DPR, both require a lot of pre-work, as well as the culmination of a formal review. TDR and DPR reviews are assigned specific areas to cover. At the beginning of a project, the project program manager must confirm the responsibility for all deliverables and document updated top risks, major risks, concerns, mitigations, and team and individual responsibilities ongoing. Please note, domain expert directors declare and write the executive summary and top risks, whereas the project manager writes the detailed review that the team and everybody else uses for deep and detailed information. All design and technical design documents and briefs are the responsibility of the project manager to ensure they are scheduled and delivered in time for preview and for the formal review. Well, that was a lot to digest. So I am sure you're looking so much forward to the next episode and what it will cover. A deep dive into technical and development plan review checklists. So yeah, I hope to see you in the next techie episode.